In this video, we're going to learn how to dynamically create the column definitions in AGGrid from a JSON response received from an API call. I'm going to use the Get Started with JavaScript Grid in 5 minutes blog post as our basis for this, because there is some code in here in a plunker that I can amend. Now you can see that what this code is doing is given a fixed set of column definitions. It is making a fetch call, essentially on an API, taking the JSON that is returned and putting it in the grid. So if I have a quick look at the JSON that is returned here, we'll see that it has 3 fields, make, model, and price, that match on to the column definitions that we've got in here. Now, this is the way we would normally work with AGGrid. We will define the column definitions in advance because it's a fixed set of data that we're going to display to the user, and we've got everything under control. But sometimes we might want to dynamically populate the grid from an API, and we can do that quite easily. So let me just format the code here so that we can make this easier. Now, to demonstrate this, I'm going to remove all the column definitions here, and I'm going to use the values that returned in the JSON to create those headers. Now, one thing that people are not always aware of is that when we're creating our column definitions, we don't actually need to give it any more information than the field name, at which point it will display the information. So all I have to do is pull out the field names from the data in the API and we're good to go. So first of all, I will get the column definitions from the API. And then I will clear that array. I'll just do that by setting the length to 0. Then I'm going to take the keys, which are in the returned data. And because all the data uses the same keys, I'm just going to take the first line and use the fields in here as my headers. So now I will iterate over those keys. And for each key, we want to add to the column definitions array an object where the field is the name of the key. And then the only remaining thing I have to do is use the API to set the column definitions back to the array that we've just populated. And now we are dynamically creating the data that's from the JSON file. And just in case you think I'm cheating, I'm going to use the Harry Potter API, and let's take all the characters. So this is a call that we send and we'll receive a JSON file back with all the Harry Potter characters. I'll put that into our plunk code and the grid will refresh with a new set of data and a new set of headings. So it's really as simple as that. Once you know how to access the API, we can dynamically create the columns in the grid and we should be good to go. To discover more about AGGrid, go off and visit ag-grid.com.